Well, that's just fucking great! Oh, great! You know what that is? Do you know what that is?
Great.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Underrated Podcast. In this podcast, we discuss the films that we feel are underrated, underappreciated, or have just slipped under the radar and passed most people by. I'm Derek McDuff, and with me are Fred and Alan Torres.
Yeah, what up?
Yo, what's up?
As well as Ariel Ortiz.
Hello.
Today, we're going to be talking about Seven Psychopaths, a 2012 film written and directed by Martin McDonagh. The dark comedy stars Colin Farrell, Sam Rockwell, Christopher Walken, and Woody Harrelson. Despite it being mostly well-received by critics, the film largely flew under the radar at the time and did not have a strong showing at the box office, and it never achieved the cult status that McDonagh's previous film In Bruges received, nor did it get the widespread critical acclaim that his follow-up film, the multiple Oscar-winning Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, received. So, guys, this was my suggestion. I'm a really big fan of dark comedies. What did you guys think of it?
Well, I guess I'll go first real quick.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
I saw it when it came out. I actually remember watching with a couple of friends of mine when it came out, and I despised it. I actually did not like it when it came out. I just wasn't a fan of it, but I rewatched it today and I was like, all right, I'll give it another chance. I'm still not a fan. I think getting a little older, I kind of was like, okay, you know what? It's not as bad as I remember, but it's not horrible by any stretch of the imagination. I like the ensemble cast. All the actors are amazing. You know, Christopher Walken, Sam Rockwell, Colin Farrell, Woody Harrelson. You just got all these great actors. I think my initial thing was I just felt like it was just kind of trying to be something. Like I don't know what it is. I felt like it was trying to be like Smoking Aces, and then I felt like it was trying to be Quentin Tarantino, but not really. But the thing is, I will kind of put a disclaimer. I absolutely hate comedies. I'm very, very picky with comedies. I usually steer the fuck away from them as much as I can, just because I really don't like them. But this one isn't as bad as a lot of I've seen. But the story, I feel like, for me personally, I feel like it could have just been a little bit more. I think if there was a little bit more tweaking with the writing and the script wise, I think it could have, for me anyways, I feel like it could have been better. I'm actually surprised there's not that big of a cult status, because I know a lot of people that absolutely love this movie. Like they always consider it to be like on par with like Smoking Aces. They're like, oh my god, this is a diamond in the rough. It's so good. You know, it has the same type of ensemble cast where like just everyone's in their A game. But I don't know. For me personally, I just thought it was, after rewatching it and kind of thinking about it, I was like, it's okay. The dark humor is there. I'm not like, it didn't really crack me up, but I just mainly enjoyed like the main four actors. Like they were just on top of their game. So like that was the best part for me, especially Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell just kills it in everything he's in. Like it's just impossible not to look at him and watch him on screen. So I'm like, it's Sam Rockwell, man. I can't hate, you know. But I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not a comedy guy. I really don't like him, so I really want to hear what you guys think. Maybe you guys can kind of make me change my opinion a little bit more.
I said, do you want to go, Ariel, and give your 2 cents on the mix before I go and give mine?
Yeah. So I think I originally saw this when it first came out, or when it first came out on DVD. I do like vague when Derek brought this up, I did vaguely like, remember it, and just of how crazy it was. I kind of like forgotten until I started rewatching it, like the plot. But yeah, on this rewatch, it still is very crazy. This is where it's kind of like it's where Sam Rockwell's kind of character our repertoire kind of used to be in movies of he plays it well. He lives this kind of like just crazy guy. I can't remember what the movie was with Anna Kendrick, but he kind of plays it kind of similarly to that. I think it's not Dear John, it's something John.
Was it that, like, what was it, a Santa Claus one, Mrs. Claus or something? The one.
It's not Mrs. Claus.
The Santa Claus 3
Yeah.
versus Jack
No,
Frost.
it's that one that Anna Kendrick just came out with.
That's
She becomes Santa
Noel.
Claus.
That
No,
one.
There you go,
that's
Noel.
Noel.
Not in
Noel?
that.
But basically just this like very like it does he was a pretty convincing psychopath. I mean, that's what Psychopaths. It definitely captured like the display of like what psychopathic tendencies are, like keeping a book of trying to remember like, oh, like to be nice to this person and don't be criticizing that, because then like he was very much like a self-aware psychopath, and I really did enjoy, and I felt like I kind of like wanted more, and how this movie plays on. It's kind of like an anthology kind of movie about psychopaths, or that's what the movie that Colin Firth is going to be writing, and it kind of like wanted that movie, and that was the moments where it was a bit more like interesting, because of all these different like psychopaths, like with the Vietnamese priest and things like that. But there were definitely really good moments coming that came out of this film, like for example, like the whole, you could say, like trail of who Christopher Walken's character really was, of like the Quaker story being told at the beginning, and then Sam Rockwell's character saying like, I told him that story, and then you find out that that the Quaker is Christopher Walken, and it was a pretty great reveal with him revealing it and taking off of his crevasse and stuff like that. I don't think it's crevasse, it's scarf basically, or ascot. But yeah, there was good moments in this movie, but I felt like it was disjointed a bit. I did enjoy it, but yeah, there was some disjointment, and that was the only thing that, like, for me, that kind of like just didn't really bother me, but it was like it could have been better. But like the characters and the performances were definitely okay. I did enjoy the most of the comedy, especially with basically essentially the psychopath calling out Colin Firth's character as being an alcoholic at every moment, like when he's like drinking and stuff. They're like, you're an alcoholic, you have a problem, you have, like, when essentially they've like killed people and like things like that. But yeah, for me, I do recommend it to give it a shot. It's definitely something that you should probably give it a watch and see what you think. You might not like it, you might like it, or you might love it. But for me, I liked it.
All right. Now, where you would typically think I'm about to shit on a movie, I'm about to blow all your minds. This movie was actually very good. It was a very good movie in the sense of this. So it starts off really shitty, right? I'm gonna be real. So I originally, when I first started watching it, was kind of like, well, what the fuck? Like, I get it. It was supposed to be some kind of dark comedy. I was gonna watch the trailer just to kind of get a gist of it, but I decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go on dry. Let's see where we go. So when you look at it, in one layer, it's a story of a friend helping a friend make a movie, right? You got that one layer. On another layer, it was really weird the way it goes. But then when you start looking at it, once you get to the end, and you realize it's because these people are psychopaths and they're crazy. That's why all this stuff is weird and disjointed. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you feel like, well, what the fuck is wrong with it? No, it's because they're doing their fucking job and making you feel that way as you keep going. And I was like, this is cool. And like a friend to a friend, they're always telling him, hey man, you drink too much. When in reality, it's like, but you guys are fucking psychopaths. Like yeah, I'm the one who's fucked up in your eyes, but in my eyes, you guys are the ones that are fucked up. So like I didn't really laugh in this movie, like ah ha ha ha, but like it was lighthearted enough that you can get through all this stuff to the point where you get you he's almost acting out this movie for Colin Firth, right?
Colin Farrell.
Sam Rockwell.
Colin Farrell.
I think
Farrell,
we've
sorry,
been doing
Colin Farrell.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Colin Farrell. There you go. Yeah, well, that's what I heard. That's why I was like, all right, yeah, Colin Farrell. Okay, so Sam
I always
Rockwell
get it
pretty
mixed
much
up.
acting out this whole movie at the end for Colin Farrell, like acting it completely out to the point where it actually happens in real life. And then I'm watching certain parts, going like, is this part of their little flashback story where he's telling the movie, or is this part of the reality? But I think that's where it works because they're psychopaths. Now, I will tell you this: where I thought the best part of the fucking whole movie was when Colin Farrell picks up the recording that the tape
Yeah.
recorder
Oh,
where
yeah.
Christopher
Mhm.
Walken gives him this amazing story, amazing story for the Vietnamese Buddhist monk, right?
It
And
gives
then
you
you just go,
chills.
wow. Yeah, and it's so amazing. And then he has to go because everybody could, everybody's got a dream and all this stuff. And then he goes into this little kind of like tangent on how I don't want to use the words because obviously they're not appropriate anymore, but how homosexuals or the gay community doesn't like to be called a certain way. And so it completely takes you out of this beautiful moment that you're like, man, this guy was an effing genius in the way he wrote the story to back to, oh yeah, this is what we're in. Like this is it. And so that's why I really enjoyed it to the point that even at the end of the movie, the credits roll and I was thinking about it because I go, hey, what about the guy with the bunny? Like whatever happened to that guy? And to the point that
Boom.
as the credits starts to roll, he cuts back in and he's like, hey man, I'm gonna come and kill you. But Colin Farrell went through all this crap that he's like, yeah, I'm here. Come and kill me. And he's like, sounds like you've been through some stuff. You know what? I'll call you back. Like he freaks out the other psychopath. So in a way, like I'm gonna be honest, I really liked it, but it's not mind blowing. It's not some critically acclaimed movie, but I think everybody did the job so well that it's a very enjoyable movie.
Mhm.
Like at the end of it, if you can see through all the layers that it has, because it's a very complex movie in its simple premise. That you like every story is based in some reality, except for maybe the Asian Vietnamese guy. I think that's the only one they made up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because everybody else was rooted in some kind of reality, and it's great that you go from the story that he made up to finding out what was really happening. So I kind of enjoyed that. Like I kind of enjoyed it. It wasn't too much. It was just enough. I mean, it was a little weird. Some of the scenes that were like Sam Rockwell when he's doing all his weirdness. But I think that's the point. That's what he's supposed to do. Like you're not supposed to suspect him being I thought it was him, but you know what I mean? It's supposed to keep you like, oh, he's just a weird dude.
Mhm.
And then you realize, oh no, wait, he's also a psychopath. But then the way he makes it sound like is he became a psychopath for his friend to make this movie. Like he's like, that's why I went to go kill these guys, so that way you had an inspiration. So I don't know if at this point he's a really, really good friend or he's just been a psychopath from the get-go. But
I think he's been a
that
psychopath
is a
for the get-go
tendency.
because because he has that whole journal and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and that's like the
Yeah.
clear sign of a
Well,
psychopath.
I think
yeah.
both
But
are true.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, but I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I'm just saying, like it gives you this feeling of like, yeah, we could piece it, but I'm saying it gives you this kind of feeling of a little bit going like, did the psychopath come first or did the best friend part come first? Like which one wins over the other one? Obviously, he didn't kill him, so I don't know how much of a psychopath he is. But then again,
It's psychopath. Yeah,
it's a good movie. Like I said, it's a good movie. I'd enjoy it. Very many layers. If you really want to really delve into it, it is a complex movie with a simple premise, and I think I like that the most. That
Mhm.
it's a movie for everybody. Depending on where your thought level is, you're going to read into it maybe a little more, and if not, there's enough to read into it for your I guess the different levels of intellect. So
Yeah, I feel-
it's
Yeah.
an easy digestible movie. Derek, I gotta
I feel
say,
like-
this is a good pick, man.
Thank you. I'm glad you
Yeah,
liked it.
I gotta say that I felt like I had understood it more on this second watching of it. And I kind of like got like certain moments a lot more, like Colin, just Christopher Walken, like like his character alone, you kind of like understand, like, yeah, he's a psychopath, but like where he's coming from is that like he's like just been broken for since
it's a father
his
that
daughter's
yeah. It's
and
it's a,
so
it's a
his
story of grief
reaction,
and loss.
yeah, so his reaction to his wife, basically getting murdered is kind of like what a person in that perspective could, and would be of like, she, and then I don't know if what he told, Colin Farrell was, or Sam Rockwell's character of like, oh yeah, she got the all clear, but kind of like puts in your mind of like, maybe she did get the all clear and then this happened.
Yeah, I think she did.
And then she's like,
yeah.
And then
Yeah, it's just it definitely does a really great way of like making you emotionally connect to these characters. Maybe not so much as Colin Farrell's character, maybe because he's a writer and stuff, but it, like kind of you maybe when he kind of like essentially, you don't know yet, but he might have, because of all this, become a psychopath himself in a way. But like that's when you kind of like start feeling like emotional connection to him a bit more, like especially like when he's like leaving Sam Rockwell, like his friend, behind, to basically like he knows he's gonna die. But yeah, it's an insane way to basically make you sympathize with these essentially psychopaths and stuff.
Yeah.
One thing real quick to say, for me, like I agree that it was layered. I agree that there was all these cool storylines, and I really did though enjoy the Christopher Walken tape recorder scene, but I kind of don't think anybody was truly a psychopath other than Sam Rockwell, because like he did really give off a lot of those tendencies, like somebody who has like psychopath.
Well, what about that guy? What about the bunny guy?
No, his wife was. I feel like his wife was like more, but not even then. It wasn't. I see where you're coming from, Alan. Where like they were kind of like had their psychopathic tendencies were out of necessity in a way, or like of a justice.
I don't think they're literally psychopaths necessarily. I think they're just like fucked up people.
Yeah,
more or less they're fucked up people, but like I feel like they have this kind of like they're grounded compared to Sam Rockwell, where like he has the journal, he's like, don't burn my neighbor's flag, kind of thing, like that right there. And then also going as far as like saying, oh, I need to do all these things for my friend to write his movie, where I'm like, yes, that is something a psychopath would do, because in their mind they think that's normal. And there is a whole obsessive compulsive thing. So he's probably obsessed with his friend, with Colin Farrell's character, where he's like, I want to do the best for him, and I want to inspire him. And that's something a psychopath would do, is like in their own mind think this is normal, this is what I should do, kind of thing. But I felt like everybody else had more of like, they had their past, and that was them just kind of like an ends to me kind of thing.
I think that's what they were trying to get at. Like Christopher Walken was quote unquote the psychopath when he was following this guy around all the time, just constantly obsessing over him and just watching him, and then at the house, and then when he slits his throat, I feel like the moment he slits his throat and so supposedly maybe dies, right? And he comes back, they're the two ends of the story, where Colin Farrell was like, I don't want my story to just be about murder, death, and killing and stuff. I want it to have like a different ending. And that's the whole eye for an eye thing when they're having the talk in the car, where Christopher Walken kind of goes, if it's an eye for an eye, then the world goes blind. And then you have Sam Rockwell go, no, that's fucking stupid. You still got one eye. One guy's going to have one eye. Therefore, he's not blind. What is he going to do? Shoot out his own eye? So I had a feeling like that's where they were going with, where Christopher Walken was maybe one path that you can take if you were to come out of it, while Sam Rockwell is the different path. It's the full psychopath, completely like, no restraints, no holds bar, completely going down that path. But they're the two paths that diverge, where that's why in the beginning you see him kind of Colin Farrell working with Sam Rockwell, but then it seems like at near the end of it, he's like, oh no, I kind of want to do this with Christopher Walken, the kind of story where at the end you'll have hope when you come out of it.
Yeah, and I think, it is a movie that is kind of like anti-nihilistic, where it is like these horrible things have happened to these people and have broken them and, made them, quote unquote psychopaths in different ways. And it's just kind of about them kind of like having a second life in a lot of these respects. And even Colin Farrell, I think, to a degree, is kind of like a psychopath. Like he's not on the surface like, a crazy person, like a crazy broken person like the rest of these guys are, who like Tom Waits with his bunny, or like Sam Rockwell, who's actually a literal psychopath, but he's like fucked up. Like he's an alcoholic. Like he doesn't remember like, just like,
oh yeah,
like shouting at his girlfriend that she's a bitch and her breaking it. Like he doesn't remember that.
That shit was crazy.
Like he's pretty bad too. And, like he's obviously kind of like an avatar for, the writer / director of the movie. Cause he's like an Irish writer who's working on this screenplay in LA and writing a movie called Seven Psychopaths. And
yeah, it's very meta of that aspect.
I do really like meta stuff, and I like how they'll be talking about the movie Seven Psychopaths that they're writing in the movie, but they're actually on like another layer talking about the movies. Like they keep saying, this is how the film's like, this is how the movie's gonna end, this is how the film's gonna end, and it's like when the movie's about to end, or like it's about the halfway point when they're driving to the desert, and he's just like, what if like halfway through the movie there's all this setup and everything, and you just drive into the desert. And that's how the second half goes. Is just three guys talking. You're like, oh, is that what's going to happen?
And that's what's going to happen. Yeah, that's what I thought. Exactly.
Yeah, and then,
just like when he goes, oh, that cross up there, perfect place to have a shootout. And then there it is. And exactly, you're right. Like that's I really did enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, and I really like how just like kind of absurd dark comedy. Like that's just kind of like personally just like my jam. And I love how it's just like it all starts because of just like a dog napping, and then becomes this crazy thing where Woody Harrelson's this insane gangster, but he's crying over his dog and he's ready to just like murder people and stuff over it. And he's obviously a crazy person too.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta say, I didn't expect that twist though, where he was sleeping. They're both sleeping with the same girl.
Oh yeah.
That one threw me off. I didn't expect that.
No, that was good. But honestly, like. I wanted to watch this movie when it first came out because I was a really big fan of In Bruges. I actually like this a little better than In Bruges because I feel like it's In Bruges like towards the final part of the movie kind of loses a little bit of the humor and just becomes just really just more of like a little too serious. Whereas this one, even when it is serious, it's like a perfect mix of like, oh, something like you said, Fred, like he has that whole like really great the tape recorder scene where he's talking about the great ending for his movie, and then he just kind of hits you with like kind of a joke. It's just kind of like it's kind of like life where comedy and drama are just kind of clashing and mixing at the same time. And I feel like this movie does a good job of just kind of like playing on all that absurdity, and just you're just kind of like, what's going to happen with these people? They're going to the desert. They keep throwing out all these meta references. One person says it's just going to be peaceful. There's this other person's going to be like, it's a big shootout, and it's kind of like halfway through, it's not like a kind of crazy movie ending like he describes, like when the church where everybody comes out, but it's also there is still that shootout at the end. But yeah, I think that this is, I haven't watched it in years, and I just kind of like, it's been a movie that whenever I've talked about like my podcast, I've always been like, oh, one day I really want to talk about Seven Psychopaths. So I'm glad we finally got around to talking about it, and I'm really was interested to hear what you guys had to say, because I don't think we ever really talked about it before, and because I know.
No, I was gonna say this is the first time I've seen this movie, so like I didn't know about it. I haven't heard about it. I don't know when it came out. I don't know what I was doing around 2012. I'll be honest, because I don't remember the movie. So this is my first time seeing it, and I mean I saw the actors and I was like, all right, let's see what I'm about to get myself into. But for the first time, I thought it was really good.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say this isn't related to anything, but it's a line. There's all these great lines from the movie, and one of them that I loved and kind of like maybe hit me a little personally was when he's like, you're a writer and you're Irish. You're predisposed to drink. It's in your blood or whatever. And I was just like, fuck, that's me right there.
Yeah. I think we were kind of like missing one of the performances in our discussion so far. We've gotten the good guys, but maybe we should talk about the bad guy, specifically Woody Harrelson's character. I felt like it was definitely like inspired by in his character in Natural Born Killers in a way of just that craziness, and but for no, like, you know, he just about his dog, and you kind of like relate to him in that. At least I kind of like, but to an extreme of like, yeah, I care for my dog as and stuff like that, but just the insanity of his involvement in it, and in this whole story, and just like, and that too, like in the movie of it seeming like wrong place, wrong time kind of situation at first, of they just took the wrong dog, and that's why all this craziness is happening. But then yeah, the craziness that Sam Rockwell's character is no, I did it for a reason. Because, you know, I was trying to get my girlfriend away from her evil boyfriend, and so I took his dog because like I'm better than him, basically.
Yeah.
So
Well, and Woody Harrelson is so good because he manages to both be menacing and really fucking funny at the same time, which is kind of incredible. Like he is like, you're like, wow, this guy is terrifying, but I'm also laughing at what he's saying, and it's not making him any less terrifying. And what's really amazing is he was brought in at the last minute. It was supposed to be Mickey Rourke, who dropped out, and I think that the film is much better. Bad. Yeah, the film was much better for it because I don't think Mickey Rourke has the comedic chops to do it. Like, he could maybe be intimidating, but he would not have that kind of like same humor that Woody Harrelson brings to the role, because Woody is such both a good dramatic and comedic actor and he's able to fuse them in this movie. Like, the movie itself is a really good fusion of drama and comedy.
Yeah, well, like with the running gag.
Mickey Rourke was pretty hilarious in Iron Man 2.
My bird.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe they wouldn't be chasing a dog; they'd be chasing a bird. No, I was gonna say the running gag of the gun getting stuck, like the not being able to shoot because it gets stuck. I don't know if it's a bullet in the chamber or how it gets stuck, but that shit made me laugh a couple times. Not like laugh, but it just made me like, at the moment when you think he's gonna shoot him, and it's like, fuck, count back to 5. That shit, I was like, God damn it, you guys, like, fuck, really? Like, on a pivotal moment, this is where we're gonna be at? Like, fuck, man. That's what it made me feel like a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I knew it's because that's the humor. That's why you'd be like, God, like, you're getting excited, and then all of a sudden he shoots, and then nothing happens. Like, oh fuck, it's stuck, and you're like, really, that fucking gun again?
Yeah, Chekhov's jammed gun.
Yeah, I was like, you piece of shit. I'm like, all right.
But yeah,
or when he gets shot, and he's like, let me pet my dog. Come on, man. He's like, no, my dog. I was like, fuck you guys.
And it's very, it's like, it's not like laugh out loud constantly humor, but it's also it's always just like, wow, that's really funny. Like, you're kind of just like under your breath, just like, that's
you're
good.
Like, you're like, fuck, like, they get you with like you said, it's not a laugh out loud funny, but the jokes come and you're like, oh fuck, you're like, shit, all right, you're like, I got it. But I think that's the whole point of the movie.
Blow air out of your nose humor.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think that's how the movie's supposed to be. Because if it was too funny, it would take away from maybe the seriousness of the killings and the stuff. Where it wants to be somewhat serious about that, like, make you feel like, oh yeah, these guys are psychopaths, these guys are killers. If the humor was too funny, then it wouldn't work. Like, this works, like, because you get that humor in a tense spot, and you're like, oh fuck. You're like, all right, and then but it's a good one. It's a good being like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like another moment is Christopher Walken interaction with Woody Harrelson's, like, lackeys, basically, of like, put your hands up. No. And then he's like, why not? I don't want to. And then he's like, but why not? But I have a gun. And he's like, I don't care.
Too bad.
So,
I don't care.
Yeah.
So what?
Just that moment,
And on that same note, when he has that interaction with Woody Harrelson, where he got right after he kills his wife, they're sitting face to face with each other, and you feel like super, super tense, and to the point where he pulls off his ascot or something, and he's like, "Here, take it," just to show him that big old scar, and then it kind of like freaks him out. I actually thought he was gonna try to choke him out with that ascot right there. I thought he was gonna be like, "Let me put it on for you," and then just strangle him. I thought that's what I was about to see, but I didn't. But it's super. But that's that feeling that you get, because it's super, super tense.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh, someone's gonna do something to each other, and then they don't. They just kind of walk away from each other.
Yeah. The movie does a really good job of building tension throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I don't know about you guys.
Oh yeah, it's a big recommendation for me. I mean, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's one of those run out and watch it, but I think it should be a movie on your list that you should watch.
Yeah, it's on Prime right now. If you got Amazon
which
Prime,
is a good one.
You can watch it for free.
Especially right now that we're all at home. So
yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely.
For me, like I said, I thought it. Oh, go ahead.
What is that? I would definitely recommend it just as something to watch and to make your own determinations on. But if you're looking for something that is multi-layered, that probably to fully understand it might need like maybe one or two or more rewatches, just like Fred was saying, the multi-layers and things like that. I do recommend it. It does put a lot of thought in different things and into character development specifically. And yeah, so give it a watch. If you still don't understand it, maybe re-listen to this and then rewatch it again.
Alan, did you have anything? Were you going to say something, Alan?
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say, yeah, for me, like I said, I thought it was just okay. After giving it a second, because like I said, the first time I really hated it. Second time I was like, you know what, it's not as bad as I remember. But it's on Amazon. Give it a try. Again, I'm super picky with comedies, so I think the layers and the acting will at least pull you in. At least that will definitely get you going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're a fan of like Sam Rockwell's like movies like Choked or is it Moon?
Moon is fucking great.
Yeah, of that kind of like he tends to make some pretty like interesting movies and very great choices in his acting. I'm just talking about Sam Rockwell now. But yeah, if you're definitely a fan of like Sam Rockwell's work and of course Christopher Walken, but Christopher Walken in a more of a subtle, classic Christopher Walken kind of character, then definitely check out this movie. Yeah.
And then Colin Farrell too. Like he's very understated in this movie, but he's fucking great. Like he's kind of like, the kind of like serious man around all these people who are kind of like, more like over the top people. He's much more of like a subdued performance, but he is fucking great. And he'll like fly off the handle. He's just like, you people are crazy, but he's crazy too. So yeah, everybody in this incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, unless you guys got anything else to say, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap that up.
I think I'm solid on this one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
yeah, I'm good.
Sam Rockwell didn't dance in this movie.
That's true. Oh shit. Yeah, no, it's Sam Rockwell dance. Damn. Well.
Yep.
Well, everybody, thanks for listening. If you like this, go ahead and hit subscribe, and we got new episodes every 2 weeks. And if you're listening on iTunes, just give us a rating. If you can give us a review or give us 5 stars, it really helps us get noticed. We also have a couple more podcasts. By the time this one airs, we will have just released our Ariel will have just released her podcast You've Never Seen. I don't know if you wanted to mention that at all, Ariel.
Yep, it's going to be releasing, or it has released on August 1st. Still need to edit it, put the final pieces on it, but it's basically taking us and essentially at least one of us has never seen a movie that's considered part of pop culture or cinema staple. So it's that person watching it and the other ones who've watched it, of course, discussing it and after their first viewing.
Yeah, and then on the 15th, we're also going to be premiering another show called Gateway Episodes. We're going to be starting with 3 episodes, and it's basically the premise is if you want to get somebody into a show, you show them this episode of a show, and it's a gateway episode, and so we'll do it once a month, every 15th of the month. We'll watch an episode of a new TV show to see if that is an episode that we want to walk through the gateway and get into that new show. And the first couple of episodes are going to be on Lost and Gilmore Girls, and then I believe Farscape is going to be the third one. So check those out, guys, and then subscribe to those, and of course subscribe to this show. And until then, I'll see you in another life.
Everybody.
Bye. Thanks for
Take
being
it easy.
amazing.